5:01 p.m. All members of the council are present except for Councilman Senek, who's absent and excused. Present from the administration is Police Chief Larry Wright, Fire Chief Ted Whittington, Mayor and Safety Director Dennis Waters, Law Director Randy Fuller, Chief Building Official Dan Glenn, Service Director Kevin Costello, City Engineer Tom Dwyer, and our Finance Director Carol Michelle. If there's anyone recording this meeting in the courtesy to the public, will you please identify yourself as the fellow attendees know they're being recorded. Being done, the city needs to be recorded. On the legislation proposed, we have legislation number 03-08-01, a resolution authorizing the Director of Finance to advance funds with said funds to be advanced from fund number 101 general funds in the amount as listed into fund number 208 federal grant fund and declaring an emergency. Commissioner Duff?
Thank you. You'll remember that we received that grant from the county for the lights in the Captain Stadium, and that we pay for it in advance and then the county reimburses us. Well, the federal grant fund doesn't have enough funds at this point in time to be able to make payments without an advance. So we're merely asking for basically, a temporary loan. It's called an advance, and that's required to be paid back by end of year. But we're just asking that you allow us that opportunity to use that money until the county pays us back.
Are there any questions for Commissioner Duff? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to legislation number 03-08-02, an ordinance to repeal and replace chapter 351.03, prohibited standing for parking places, specifically section A4 of the codified ordinances of the city of East Lake, replacing what was formerly within 10 feet of a fire hydrant to instead read on any street in the city on the fire hydrant side of the street, except in the case of cul-de-sac, where then not within 10 feet of a fire hydrant is declaring an emergency, and this is going to be placed on first reading. Chief?
We had a small recent issue with the way the ordinance was worded in the cul-de-sacs, depending on where the hydrant is located, differentiating between which side of the street. Basically, at the end of the day, for 30 years, it kind of works itself out, and an officer will go down and make sure that there's enough room for rescue and fire equipment, basically, handle it. But our latest incident, we just figured if we could clean up the language behind it and make sure that we have something to fall back on in case there is an issue that causes that.
Are there any questions for the chief?
So, you are right on the language, so that's why I told you we have first reading.
Yes, I think that's covered.
So we're leaving this on first reading?
If the language is right, I just wanted to make sure it was right, that's why I did that. If it's okay, and you guys want to move it forward, it's fine. I'm sure that's a lot of discussion with the chief of ranger.
Is there anything else, Chief, that you okay with?
Yeah.
I'm trying not to have a whole other section about cul-de-sacs, we put it in there, otherwise, it can keep going and going and going. So it should park on the high side less than cul-de-sac, then it'll make sense.
Okay, legislation number 03-08-03, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a conditional use permit to Katya Culpepper, DBA Legit Free Beauty Bar, located at 35728 Vine Street, East Lake, Ohio, 44015, and declaring an emergency.
Yeah, they came to planning approved conditional use permit. And mainly they were there because they talked about doing massages. And I wanted to make sure they were up front what they're doing, so we knew everything was smoothly and before it passed.
Any questions?
Thank you, Director. What exactly are they doing there?
They do a lot of beauty stuff, makeup, nails. They don't do hair, and they're doing mainly upper body massages, like shoulders and stuff like that. So I just wanted to go and make sure it was on the record that we had trouble in the past to make sure everything's good. And, right from the board, no questions or pursue?
Any other questions for Mr. Lynn? All right, seeing none, thank you, Mr. Lynn. We'll move on to legislation number 03-08-04, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a conditional use permit to Gina P. Galala, doing business as A2B Vintage Auction Hall, located at 950 Erie Road, East Lake, Ohio, 44095, and declaring emergency.
Yeah, some of you might remember a few years ago, they came to do an auction, about once a month down there in Erie. It's by that Bullseye, pool table shop. And, with COVID and everything having on the east side, so they're trying to revamp and, they're starting, basically like a store full of old furniture and things like that, antiques, stuff like that.
Will they still be doing auctions, or?
No more auctions, they got rid of that. So that's why I had to change it, so that no more auctions, what they're doing.
Are there any questions for us? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to legislation number 03-08-05, a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor and director of finance to accept a donation of $2,500 on behalf of the city of Dollar Bank to be used for free concerts at the city and declaring an emergency.
She was going out and contacted Dollar Bank, and she was talking to some other people. The $6,500 that we're giving Dollar Bank will be the full sponsor for the concerts we have in the back. We have 8 concerts scheduled in the gazebo. One of our only possible be a little sign made for the gazebo that Dollar Bank sponsored all the concerts. So the concerts that we did book will be paid for through this. So we're happy that Dollar Bank chose to donate to us.
Any questions for that? Seeing none, we'll move on to legislation pending. We have legislation number 02-22-01, an ordinance to repeal and replace Chapter 154, Economic Community Development Council, Section 1, Establishment of Members, Terms, Powers, and codified ordinances of the City of East Lake, and declaring emergency. This was placed on first reading last meeting, and it will be voted on tonight. Any questions or comments from council? Okay. Seeing none, we also have legislation number 02-22-02, an ordinance to reappropriate the expenses of the City of East Lake, State of Ohio, for the period beginning January 1st, 2022, and ending December 31st, 2022, and declaring an emergency. This will be the second reading, and this is under miscellaneous, we have the swearing of Michael Warcher Sergeant. I'll turn it over to the Chief of the Nurse.
I, Michael Ward, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States of America, the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio, ordinances of the City of East Lake, and to the best of my ability, will discharge the duties of the office of Police Sergeant of the City of East Lake.
Yeah, we always appreciate, council letting us use this opportunity to recognize when people get sworn in and get promoted. Mike has an interesting career path. You know, he worked for us for a couple of years when I was a lieutenant, when he was part-time. Helped work a bunch of side jobs, ended up going to the sheriff's office. Was there for a while, had some changes out there. He came back to work for us part-time again. We gave an entrance exam, he took that, did well enough, and we hired him full-time in 2016. A lot of changes, obviously, from 2015 to now. We did a lot of hires. Mike did really well on the sergeant's exam. A lot of work goes into these promotionals. Couple months of studying for the written exam, and then you have to go through the assessment center. And Mike came out, did real well. Always had a good knowledge of the laws. I was able to, be kind of a senior guy going and offering advice for a lot of the younger guys. He probably puts in as many hours as anybody at the department. He's been a K-9 officer for a number of years, a couple of days of training a month on that. He's been on the SWAT team since I got out. And he is excelled in that. So he's got 3 training days a month. And for guys that get into the sergeant rank now, in addition to the extra responsibility, you're going from what's usually a more preferred schedule of 12-hour shifts to 8-hour shifts. So, to take that, it's a little bit of a pay bump, whether it's worth the aggravation, I'll have to ask him in a while. But he, a lot of sacrifice that goes along with that, and that K-9, and probably the only thing he does more work-wise is what he seems to do at home. He has campers, 4-wheelers, and all this stuff, so it's like he works hard, plays hard, does a lot of stuff for his family. So, really well-rounded. We're glad that he's part of the leadership and look forward to great things. So, congratulations again, Mike.
I'm adjourning this council as a whole committee meeting at 7:14 p.m. The regular council meeting of March 8, 2022, to order at 7:14 p.m. Mr. Kasulik, we will lead the pledge reading.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please call the roll? Here. There are motions to approve the agenda for the regular council meeting of March 8, 2022. Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
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 Yes, the motion is carried, the agenda is approved. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of February 22nd, 2022? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mrs. Kraniak?
Yes.
Mr. Buchanan?
Yes.
Mrs. Potts?
Yes.
Mr. Smith? Yes. Mr. Meyer?
Yes, the motion is carried, the minutes are approved. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the finance committee meeting of February 8, 2022? Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Buchanan?
Yes.
Mr. Smith? Yes. Mr. Potts?
Yes.
Mrs. Kraniak?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes, the motion is carried, the minutes are approved. Let the record reflect those still had some outstanding finance committee meeting minutes from February 15th of 2022. We will probably have those at the next meeting. Our next scheduled council as a whole meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022 at 7 p.m. with The regular council meeting immediately following the adjournment of the council as a whole committee meeting. We will move on to committee reports. Ms. Crockett, do we have any WPCC committee?
We did, prior to the meeting, Councilwoman Schmidt and myself, went on a tour. And there were just a few things that I raised some concerns about, and decided that I need to bring those to the committee, which we did. One of them being cybersecurity, some pen testing that we recommended, and data system, acquisition, test done, and the recommendations that I suggested moving forward. And then they will be working, the individual, hopefully will be working with their new IT person that will be just hired. We discussed lab technician, and it was a fantastic meeting. Actually, we have I would say 22 people, something like that. First meeting I got to chair, it was pretty interesting. All in all, it was very good. And thank you very much. The pizza was great. Everybody enjoyed it.
Are there any questions for Ms. Crockett? Seeing none, thank you. We'll move on to recognition of the public. Anyone who wishes to address council? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to legislation proposed. Quickly read legislation 03-08-01.
A resolution authorizing the Director of Finance to advance funds to said funds to be advanced from Fund 101, General Fund, in the amount as listed in the Fund 2080 Grant Fund, and declaring an emergency.
There are motions to suspend the rule requiring separate reading and reading in full. Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Katsina?
Yes.
Mr. Conrad?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mr. Meyer?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Katsina?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mr. Meyer?
Yes. The motion is carried. The legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 03-08-02?
An ordinance to repeal and replace chapter 351.03, prohibited standing or parking places, specifically sections A4 of the codified ordinances of the city of Eastlake, replacing what was formerly within 10 feet of a fire hydrant, to instead read on any street in the city on the fire hydrant side of the street, except in the case of a cul-de-sac where then not within 10 feet of the fire hydrant, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and reading in full? Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad?
Yes.
Mr. Katsina?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad?
Yes.
Mr. Katsina?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. The motion is carried. The legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 03-08-02?
An ordinance authorizing the issuance of a conditional use permit to Katya Culpepper doing business as Legit 3 Beauty Bar located at 35728 Vine Street, Eastlake, Ohio 44095, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and reading in full? Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Katsina?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
I move to adopt.
Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Katsina?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. The motion is carried. The legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 03-08-04?
An ordinance authorizing the issuance of a conditional use permit to Jacob D. Zawala doing business as A2E Vintage Alcohol located at 950 Erie Road, Eastlake, Ohio 44095, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full? Is there a second?
A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor and director of finance to accept a donation of $6,500 on behalf of the city from Dollar Bank to use for free housing to the city and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings to read this full? Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Katrina? Yes. Ms. Pontiac?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt? Mr. Oderschinkel?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Katrina?
Yes.
Ms. Pontiac?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt? Yes. Mr. Oderschinkel?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes, the motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. Under unfinished business, we have legislation number 02-22-01. Will the clerk please read the legislation?
An ordinance to repeal and replace chapter 154, Economic and Community Development Council, section 01, establishment, numbering, terms, powers of the codified ordinances of the city of East Lake and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings in full?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Oderschinkel?
Yes.
Mr. Katrina?
Yes.
Ms. Pontiac?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt? Mr. Meyer?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Oderschinkel?
Yes.
Mr. Katrina?
Yes.
Ms. Pontiac?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Mr. Meyer?
Yes, the motion is carried, the legislation is adopted.
I need to, how many votes do we have?
We have 5.
Go ahead to the next one. I gotta check.
I understand. We have legislation number 02-22-02. And this, will the clerk please read the legislation?
An ordinance to reappropriate the expenses of the city of East Lake, state of Ohio, for the period beginning January 1st, 2022, and ending December 31st, 2022, and declaring an emergency.
And this is not the second reading. That's all right, we can move on. We'll get back here. Okay. We have no new business, we have no, unfinished business, we'll move on to our administrative reports. First reports from our mayor and safety director, Dennis Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome to this evening's meeting. Congratulations, Mr. Culpepper. We wish you the best for your business on Vine Street.
Taylor?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, that's why I was so confused when you came around.
Okay, I apologize.
But thank you for the congratulations, I also did so.
We had the state of the city this morning, was, interesting as usual with the 6 mayors, and they roast each other, so talk about businesses about what's going on in the city. We also, I did see the article, that I made a joke on, about we hope that Major League Baseball doesn't play all year, my quote, in the Herald for tomorrow, so the Captains will fill the stadium even more, you'll see the article, I guess, in the morning, take it to the Herald. Talk about the budget, talk about Food Supplier, Service Department, housing development, a couple of new businesses. Talk about that we're one of the only cities that has 4 restaurants on the river. Talk about the stormwater, talk about the Miracle Day concerts. TLCI meeting is tomorrow at the Senior Center in Willoughby from 6:30 to 8:30. It'll be an interactive, meeting with EDG. It's been a run meeting, with fire through the grant. Talked about the, East Lake Library renovations that Dave Spot and I attended. Obviously, the captains come back, the boat race, the car shows. I did remind everyone there is potholes in the city, if they didn't know that. It seems to be out there. And, as the other mayor said, we talked about, how much, we paid last time for the roads, $1.2 million, still a big dent in our road repairs. Myself and all the other mayors understand, I think each mayor that talks about the roads, that there's not enough money in the day, to do all the infrastructure we need to do. Thanks to all the other mayors theirs for their, continued working with the city and myself, and that was that. So, I talked to John and Dave Will about this, because I presented, about House Bill 563, which one of the GOP state reps put out, to put it, that it would stop the home rule, and the home rule on this would be that the local government couldn't stop like Airbnb, which we all know was the ordinance against Airbnbs. So the bigger point on this is if they pass one to start removing home rules, when will it stop? They can start picking everything and say, we're gonna override home rules, and it would make no difference to be in a church community anymore. So we're gonna talk to Jamie Callen and a few of the others on that one. I know they were discussing it again today. We're also working on the carts. As you'll see, they're stacked up in the back from Republic. Starting in April, when we go to the 2-cart system, we'll still have the unlimited garbage pickup. We're working on a letter that's going to send out to all the residents so they're not bombarding City Hall saying what's this other cart for. We're working on that letter. Hopefully she'll have that before I leave at the end of the week. The first house in Washington will be ready on 4/20. Tentatively, so I'll let you know if they want to have like a opening over there and have us over there to take a look. And then also talk to Steve from Culver's. Their opening date will be June 18th. So again, have a soft opening. I'll let you know when that is. Other than that, that's my report.
Any questions from there? Seeing none, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Moving on to our fire chief, Ted Latham.
Thank you, Mr. President. I really don't have nothing to report. I probably will submit an email to you. I know that we have some promotions that will be coming up beyond the 22nd of March. If it would be okay to bring those here, but I'll send you a formal email, making that request. Rather than we'll approve the budget.
Any questions for chief?
Just comment, Chief, Alex Coleman wanted to personally thank the Lake Fire Department for the call you guys went on tonight, with the garage and some other things really helped.
Okay, very good. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
All right, thank you, chief. We'll move on to our police chief, or
Yeah, I appreciate the use of the facility to allow the families to recognize loved ones when they have these achievements. We did have an unexpected resignation of a guy that's in training, and he ended up going to another community. We have a conditional offer out, and hopefully we'll have more on that by the end of the month. And then we'll just keep doing what we're doing and trying to, we have one retirement in October, and after that, I think it will be steady for a while. So far, so good.
any questions for chief? Okay, seeing none, thank you, chief. You're always welcome to have your swearing in, you and the fire chief folks. With that, we'll move on to our chief building official, Dave Lennon. Thank you, Mr. Lennon. We'll move on to our service director, Kevin Costello.
So I sent the end of the month report that I'm sure you all received and read. So that was through email. Other than that, obviously we've had a little bit rougher of a winter than we had in the past few years, which obviously brings out potholes like the mayor mentioned. Unfortunately, this time of year, you know, we do all we can to keep up with it, but at this time of year, our only option is a temporary patch. So we're constantly addressing the same potholes over and over again until the asphalt plants open up and we can do more of a permanent repair. And as far as I think I mentioned 343 and buying the water valve still leaking, the water department's aware of it, and they should be addressing it this week is what they tell me. That concludes my report on local questions.
Are there any questions from the service director? Seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Costello. And we'll move on to our city engineer, Tom Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President.
still in the process of doing our formal year-end close with formal financial statements. I would expect it would probably be done sometime about May or June, but, that's about it.
Are there any questions for the finance director? Seeing none, move on to our law director, Randy Clammer.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I wasn't paying attention to the actual vote there, but you remember our ordinances, not only do they reference 2/3 to pass for emergency and 3/4 to pass for, the waive the reading. Our ordinances go a step further and specifically state the number of votes you need, so it's not proportional. So when we're missing a council person, the ordinance still says 2/3 in parentheses, it says 5 votes, 3/4 in parentheses, 6 votes. So I don't know how many we had to waive the, we have 6 members here, so did we have all 6 votes to waive?
No, we have five yes, 1 no.
So you still have,
We're still on.
so you didn't waive the reading.
So we need to do this again, is what you're saying?
Or we can change the ordinance that up in the future, so it's proportional.
Up to council.
Yeah, it reads, unlike some cities where it would say 2/3, ours says 2/3, 5, 3/4, 6. So, yeah, something like that. So you get one more. Unless you want to do a vote, everybody can wait the reading and then you can vote on the passage. And Schmidt can still take your opposition and probably like stuff.
If we still have an issue with the ordinance, like, is that something that we can discuss? And I discussed it with you, but
If you said we're still another, you still have one more reading. The purposes of 3 readings.
Yeah, one other change, step change that you can do.
okay, it's just a little bit more of a clarification, taking out the eligible part.
I think that's clear.
Okay.
I wrote that down.
Just to clarify, it's gonna be at the 3rd reading.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think it's okay.
On that.
Any questions for all director? Okay. Seeing none, this meeting's adjourned at 7:31
You open the boutique.